Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. That the music means it's time for Open Mic Friday, taking your calls with comments, compliments, concerns, general crack pottery. We'll take it all, but before we get to your calls, we bring our friend Jim Perry from Perry International Capital Partners back on since we had to so rudely cut him off. But, there's a pecking order to these things. When Dennis Prager, Mike Gallagher comes to town, they throw me out of the studio, too, and they take over. So there's just a pecking order to these things, Jim. Sorry about that.
Oh, don't worry. I'm honored to be bumped by the Speaker of the House.
It's great fodder for a cocktail party, isn't it?
It doesn't happen every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
You're fourth you're fourth in line to the presidency as far as we're concerned. All right.
Yeah, I think that was really funny. He's the Taylor Swift of politics. That's okay. I'm not.
All right. So, give us just sort of. We were talking a bit about the jobs number beating the street estimates at 340,000, and what Jay Powell may do in June and beyond. I mean, just give us your handle on where you think things stand for the remainder of this year, and what you would be telling listeners to do if they were your clients.
Right. We'll jump to the elevator sales pitch real quick, right? So here's the deal. A lot of people say the strength of the labor market has been surprising, but it's not. 300,000 jobs, 330,000 jobs is a lot, and it's coming across all spectrums of the economy. So it's construction, it's leisure and hospitality, it's healthcare. And, everybody in those jobs is getting raises, right? So pilots, nurses, railroad workers, construction guys, you name it. And the biggest problem, and I have a ton of respect for Speaker McCarthy. I think anybody that works that hard in that job, in that position, trying to shrink government, a lot of people couldn't do that, including me. It's a tough job. So I've got a lot of respect for him, and I'm glad he's doing the job he's doing. And everybody, of course, wants it to be better. Especially the markets, and that's the biggest problem, I mean, what he didn't address, and he can't because it's politics, but, government spending went up $10 trillion, in the last 2.5 years. And a lot of that money is still in the system, and it's not going away yet. And I'm not in the world of politics. I'm in the world of economics, and economics matter, and that much money in the system is creating inflation. And all these jobs numbers, there's only one piece of information that matters the most, Dan, and that is that wage growth is growing at 6.5%. And everything in the service sector of the economy is inflating because of it. And all of those people that make $100,000 a year or less, who are living paycheck to paycheck, have their household disposable income being destroyed. And that is unsustainable. And if the Fed doesn't raise rates this summer more, this inflation problem is not going to go away.
All right, and one thing, just a note from your missive this week. It's your view that the run on regional banks is behind us. I mean, there may be other moments in the banking sector in the coming months, but in terms of some sort of collapse of that sector within the banking system, you think we're beyond it?
Well, I do, largely because the government contained it and, put some of these bad treasury positions on their balance sheet. So the balance sheet went up again. But, like I said, and we've talked about many times, Dan, recessions happen when the Fed raises rates. And the Fed raises rates because prices are rising. And prices are rising, so rates are going to go up. So the weakest, poorly managed, worst positioned businesses that have to borrow money are going to be in trouble. So it's not going to be a surprise to see somebody else, either a real estate developer or a hedge fund or a bank go out of business. You're going to have some problems as rates go up. But, if inflation is the fight, right? I mean, everybody tells me, oh, it's so great that CPI has gone from 9% to 5%. And I say, well, yeah, that is great. But the fact is that, before the pandemic, it was at 1.5%, and now it's 5%. That's 3 times higher than the Fed wants. So if they're gonna try to really keep the inflation fight going, they should hike rates in June and July and get rates back up to 7%. Otherwise, inflation is not going to go away.
Jim Perry, founder, Perry International Capital Partners. Jim, thanks as always. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line, just in case. And you guys are about to join us on our turnkey.